Kansas City, the home of the 2015 World Champions. The fans are lining up a beautiful April evening, an AL Central matchup. Detroit Tigers against the Kansas City Royals. We'll see one of the best hitters of this generation, maybe of all time, in Miguel Cabrera. And of course, he'll face the starting pitcher, Edinson Volquez, who was key in that World Series win last year. And speaking of World Series, well, there is the trophy. It resides here at Kauffman Stadium, and these fans are quite happy about it. And hello to everybody, Justin Kutcher alongside Tom Verducci. And Tom, this Royals team, back-to-back World Series appearances. Of course, they won last year. It's more of the same this year. If it's working, why change it, right?
Yeah, listen, I love watching this team play. It's like walking into a car showroom, and you can't help but notice that shiny red convertible. It's up-tempo baseball. It starts offensively in an age of so many strikeouts. They put the ball in play and run the bases aggressively. Of course, the bullpen, a huge component to this team. Very deep bullpen. When they have a lead, well, they're going to hang on to it. And finally, how about the defense? The most athletic team in the league, to me, has a plus defender at all positions on the field at all times. Listen, that formula good enough to win in 2015. It's a new mile a year. It's the same formula in 2016.
As far as the formula being the same, Detroit Tigers, they were the team to beat in the AL Central before these Royals. They haven't changed their formula either.
No, now you're talking muscle cars, right? Motor City. Listen, the offense for the Tigers comes out of the batter's box more than it does on the bases the way the Royals play you. And you can see the numbers early in the season, tied with the Baltimore Orioles for the most runs per game in the American League. I believe their 1 through 5 in the lineup is as good as you will find throughout baseball. The challenge today for Edinson Volquez, keep this team in the ballpark. That's where it begins when you face this lineup.
Speaking of this lineup for Brad Ausmus, you mentioned those top 5, Kinsler, Upton, Cabrera, Martinez. Ausmus says, hey, don't sleep on Castellanos either, the third baseman. Jared Saltalamacchia, who is supposed to be the backup catcher, is now playing and putting up huge numbers early on. Getting the start in center field is Tyler Collins, and Jose Iglesias, he is back playing shortstop for these Tigers. And they will face Edinson Volquez. On the season so far, he is 2-0 with a 2.04 ERA in 3 starts. You see the numbers, 17 strikeouts in 17 2/3 innings. 1 home run, opponents hitting .215 against him.
Well, to me, hitters love velocities in that 87 to 92 range. I call that the hitting zone. Well, Volquez will not throw a pitch in that zone. Changeups and curveballs below hitting speed, and of course the fastball, hard sinker, mid-90s above hitting speed.
Ian Kinsler will lead things off here for the Tigers. An 8-game hitting streak. His average now at .356, 4 home runs, 12 RBIs. This guy, year in, year out, puts up good, consistent numbers for the Tigers, for the Rangers, all while playing a Gold Glove caliber second base. And the first pitch from Volquez. There is a fastball. Misses for ball 1.
You'll see a lot of those upstairs, Justin. You think about two-seamers, normally you think down. He will work up in the strike zone with that hard two-seamer.
1-0. Popped up. Third base side, foul territory. Moustakas going over. He's got room. And he will make the catch for the first out. How about the 4 keys to the game?
Well, to me, I look at this Tigers offense. They will ambush any pitcher. They're hitting .453 on first pitches. So for Volquez, that's not a concession pitch. And as far as the Royals, traffic jams, get people on the bases. Pelfrey, the starter for Detroit, is a guy you can run against and has had some issues with runners on base. Much better with nobody on base out of a windup.
The big offensive acquisition this offseason for the Tigers is the man at the plate right now, Justin Upton. Struggling so far, 2 for his last 17 at the plate. He's first pitch swinging, skies one. Onto the outfield grass, Omar Infante is there, and quickly 2 up, 2 down here for the Tigers. The defense for this Royals team, as you said, a plus defender at every position. They've also got a Gold Glover at 3 of the positions.
Big part of what they do here, and that's why a guy like Ian Kennedy coming over here, especially as a fly ball pitcher, I think he'll prosper as he has already with that defensive outfield especially, but every position, as you said.
Salvador Perez, one of the best catchers in baseball. Miguel Cabrera, he steps in. He takes the first pitch low and inside for ball one. Miguel Cabrera, 250, a home run, 6 RBIs. And you just know, as the season goes on, those numbers will be about 315 to 325 and close to 40 home runs as long as he stays healthy.
That's interesting. He's 5 for 8 lifetime against Volquez. All 5 of his hits to center field or right field. And when you watch this guy take batting practice, a lot of times he will signal what his approach is going to be. Today he was putting most of the balls in the right field bullpen. Pulled very few baseballs.
The 1-1. Swung and missed, strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Cabrera.
A lot of times if he's facing someone who's going to pound him in, you'll see him turn on more balls in BP. Volquez with that 2-seamer and changeup action likes to work the ball away from Cabrera, and that's why he's more right field conscious than pull conscious.
And I just thought he woke up and just hit.
He can hit where he wants to. There you go. There's the swing right there. Watch him let this ball get deep, let it travel. Good 2-strike approach. Even early in counts, you'll see him take that same kind of swing. So powerful to the opposite side of the field.
Still 1 ball, 2 strikes here to Cabrera. Volquez trying to work a 1-2-3 top half of the first. Missing down low. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Justin, you can see the way they defend Miguel Cabrera. Look at the center fielder, Lorenzo Cain, playing him like a left-handed pull hitter.
Well, the former manager, Jim Leland, said he has power to right field better than most lefty pull hitters. 2-2 lays off the tough pitch, and now it's 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Volquez loves throwing the changeup with 2 strikes. He's shook to go to the changeup again.
Jam shot to first. Hosmer blocks it. Underhand toss to Volquez, and that'll do it here for the first. A 1-2-3 inning for Edinson Volquez. The Royals coming up, no score. From the Royals, Alcides Escobar will lead things off for Kansas City, followed by Mike Moustakas, Lorenzo Cain. Eric Hosmer bats cleanup. Kendrys Morales, the DH, bats 5th, followed by Alex Gordon, Salvador Perez, Omar Infante, and Gerard Dyson. And they will face the right-hander, Mike Pelfrey. Signed a 2-year contract in the offseason as a free agent with these Tigers. And the first pitch is low and outside for ball 1. Pelfrey 0-2 with a 2.79 ERA in his first 2 starts of the year, coming off a start, though, in which he gave up 6 walks in 6 innings at Houston. .0 is up and in, 2 balls and no strikes to Escobar, who's hitting .234, no home runs and 4 RBIs early on this year. Fastball called for a strike by Larry Vanover. 2 balls and 1 strike.
You'll see a lot of those. Almost 3 out of every 4 pitches is going to be that running sinker from Pelfrey, complemented by the forkball. Yeah, forkball, not a split.
In the air, left center field, long run for Collins. He will not get there. Takes on a hop. Escobar into second with a leadoff double. First double of the season for Alcides Escobar.
There's the 2-seam fastball left up in the zone. He's either got to run that in farther or lower. That's right into the barrel of Escobar. Remember last year in the postseason, Justin, Escobar would swing at the first pitch every time, including the World Series with the inside the park home run. That's a long at bat for him. And by the way, he's 0 for 9 on first pitches this year, so it's a different kind of mojo for him this year.
Well, now Mike Moustakas at the plate with a man in scoring position. And Pelfrey's first pitch, fastball, there on the outside corner, first strike. Moustakas, .236, 4 home runs, 5 RBIs to open this year. You said a key for this team was to get guys on base. A leadoff double to open up the game for the Royals.
Now the job is move him over, pull it to the right side.
Off-speed pitch, was that forkball?
Yeah, that's the forkball. He's a guy who did throw a split last year with Minnesota. He was in spring training. There's that grip. Now see how far apart the fingers are split there. Eddie Guardado, former Twins pitcher, now working with the Twins front office, talked to him about his forkball, getting the baseball deeper into the split fingers.
1-1. There it was again, 1 ball and 2 strikes. The last guy that I remember throwing that was Jose Contreras.
The difference is if you took a baseball and took your 2-seam grip, there it is again, and spread it just a little bit to the outside of the seams, that would be a true splitter. What Mike does, he splits the fingers even wider, gets the baseball deeper between those fingers. Now, he said when he first started throwing it, about every 3rd pitch wasn't even near the plate. Took a while to get used to the extreme grip.
The 1-2. Fouled away. Stays 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Guy who's really reinvented himself, Mike Pelfrey. Came up as a 4-seam power guy. Now it's all sinkers. He junked the 4-seamer. So what happened to it? Well, I had Tommy John surgery, and when I came back, the 4-seamer kept cutting on me. I didn't like it, couldn't control it. So that is no longer in use for Mike Pelfrey. All 2-seamers.
Another 1-2. Into left field. Upton plays on the bounce. Escobar had to hold up. Runners on the corners with nobody out here in the first for the Royals.
And how about Mike Moustakas? Completely changed his game last year as an all-field hitter. Here's the 2-seamer. You see the side-to-side movement, but once again, as with Escobar, up in the zone.
First and third here for Kansas City, and Lorenzo Cain will step to the plate. Cain struggling right now, .216, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, 1 for his last 13, but good career numbers against Pelfrey, 7 for 14. And the first pitch fastball in the outside corner for a strike. There are those career numbers against Pelfrey. The Royals won the first game with his 3-game set. Tigers won last night 3-2. Fouled back, no balls and 2 strikes here to Kane. Now Pelfrey, a very good ground ball pitcher. Last year, tied for the major league lead with John Lackey with 29 double plays. That's how many he induced. He would love one right here.
Absolutely. The situation calls for the split right here. Try to make it look like that sinker and then let it drop out of the zone. Now he wants the fastball up.
0-2 is way up high. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And too high right there, as you said, because Kane is a guy who will expand up with 2 strikes. That's just not tempting enough. Now you can go back to the split here. I'm on a bad habit. I just called it a split. I got to retrain myself to call it a forkball. You just don't see many. You don't see many fork balls here.
Tom, don't beat yourself up over this, okay? Line drive back to Pelfrey, and everybody's going to be safe. Pelfrey knocked it down, an RBI single for Kane, and Moustakas moves to second.
Boy, how about that? Mike Pelfrey had the out in his glove. The ball just wouldn't stay in it.
Nothing you can do about that.
Absolutely nothing. It's just off the end of the glove, just in the spot where the web is not going to close on it. Snap closed, and yeah, that deserves a smile. I'll take it. A ribby, not just a knock.
You know, watching Lorenzo Cain these last few years, the guy here reminds me of Torrey Hunter. The way he plays in the outfield, great jumps, and then he always has a smile on his face. Eric Hosmer steps in. Slow breaking ball, pulled foul. Hosmer, 304, a home run, 5 RBIs on a 10-game hitting streak. Eric Hosmer, the guy who's become the leader of this Kansas City clubhouse. In the dirt, good stop by Saltalamacchia. 1 ball and 1 strike.
And when you know you've got Pelfrey on the mound with that forkball, you're going to have many of these opportunities. The pitch is designed to fall out of the zone. As a catcher, you anticipate getting down to your knees. Great textbook fundamental positioning there by Saltalamacchia.
You asked Brad Ausmus pregame who had the best forkball splitter that he ever caught.
He came right out with Hideo Nomo, and I totally agreed with him on that. He could throw it at any count.
Fouled back, 1 ball and 2 strikes. I thought maybe he'd throw out Roger Clemens and Mr. Splitty.
He caught a lot of good ones in his day. Long career behind the plate.
3rd season as a Tigers manager. In the win last night, when K-Rod got the save, he was hitting his chest. Like, whew, that was close. Line drive to short. Iglesias will step on the bag for a double play.
Well, Pelfrey's not getting his ground balls, but he'll take that. Scorched line drive. Defense was right there.
So Hosmer hits one well. Defense was right there. Kane hit one well off the glove of Pelfrey, got the RBI. Now 2 outs, runner on first, and Kendrys Morales at the plate. And the shift is on for Morales with Ian Kinsler playing back on the outfield grass in right field. And a throw back over to first. Kane is back in.
Now, the people who wonder about why would the defense be that extreme against Kendrys Morales, they've got all this information. I mean, this is not by accident here. And Morales, in the last 2 years, has had 3 ground ball hits the opposite direction. The objective of a shift is to take away the hard hit balls. You don't want to defend the anomalies. For Kendrys Morales, anything on the ground to the left side is a mistake. Usually something cute off the end of the bat.
Another check of Kane, 1 for 1 this year in stolen bases.
As I mentioned earlier, Pelfrey is a guy you can run on. A little bit slow to the plate, doesn't always slide step. In this situation with 2 outs, good running opportunity for Kane. So Pelfrey, even without being quick to the plate, his job, defend the running game with throws over and varying his holds.
Morales line drive back up the middle, base hit. Kane takes a peek and he's going to go for third, and he will be in there safely. We mentioned this on the top of the show. They're aggressive. They take that extra base, and Kane almost baited Collins into it, coming around second slowly, then turned it on and went to third.
Yeah, I thought it should have been an automatic first to third, but as you said, Kane, you know, he did a little calculus on his way around second. Should I or shouldn't I? Of course I should. Now he flips it into the next gear. See so far, these sinkers by Pelfrey staying up in the zone. Royals hitters are having no issues squaring up.
A lot of hard hit balls. Escobar leadoff double, Moustakas the single. Kane the line drive off the glove of Pelfrey as Alex Gordon steps in. A line drive by Hosmer, and now Morales a line drive to center. Pitches up and in for ball 1 to Gordon. If you're Mike Pelfrey and the Tigers, and you can get out of this inning with just 1 run coming across, that's a sigh of relief.
He would sign up for that right now. Unfortunately, already working from behind on Gordon.
And their first strike, 1 ball and 1 strike. 20 pitches already in the inning for Mike Pelfrey. Former first-round pick of the New York Mets back in 2005, 9th overall selection. This was a guy who the Mets had huge expectations for. Gordon able to hold up on the check swing. 2 balls and 1 strike. Pelfrey, he was a starter, then went to the bullpen. There was the whole conversation, should he be a starter? Should he be a reliever for the Mets? Whoa. 2-1 misses outside. Now 3 balls and a strike to Gordon with Salvador Perez on deck.
That's a great take by Gordon. Pelfrey's stuff is not the kind where he's going to get swings and misses in the zone. He's trying to get weak contact on balls that run out of the zone. Kansas City not biting. They're making him come into the zone.
(3-1) big swing and a miss by Gordon. Had a home run last night. Was trying to put a few on the board right there.
And you saw his reactions. Exactly what Pelfrey wants to do. Get him the nibble at those that dive out of the zone. Good action on this sinker.
Full count. Morales will be off with a pitch at first base. Kane at third. The 3-2. High and outside. Ball 4. Bases loaded. 2 outs here in the top of the first for the Royals. A visit to the mound by the pitching coach Rich Doobie gives us a chance to take a look at the defense for these Tigers in the outfield from left to right. You've got Justin Upton, Tyler Collins, J.D. Martinez around the horn in the infield. Miguel Cabrera at first, Kinsler at second, Jose Iglesias at short, Castellanos at third. Behind the plate is Saltalamacchia. Salvador Perez, the hottest guy in the lineup right now in this series for the Royals. 5 for 7 this series. on Tuesday night in Game 1. Well, he had a big homer. Last night in the 9th inning off of K-Rod, homered in back-to-back games. That also was back-to-back home runs with Alex Gordon. And now he is up with the bases loaded. 2 outs here in the first.
You always have to watch Sal Perez on first pitches. He comes out of the dugout swinging.
There he is, swinging first pitch and grounds it foul. No balls and 1 strike. 6 RBIs in the series for Perez. He's got 11 RBIs on the season. Bases loaded, 2 outs, 1-0. Royals on top. Oh, 1. Perez able to check the swing. 1 ball and 1 strike. Are you surprised at all that Pelfrey's going from the stretch, not the windup here?
That's a matter of comfort. You will see a lot of times guys go to the windup with 2 outs and the bases loaded. He obviously feels more comfortable here out of the stretch.
Pelfrey's had to labor through this first inning. Just missing. 2 balls and a strike. 27 pitches here in the first inning. And Brad Ausmus told us before the game he'd like to get more length out of his starters. That one just missed.
That's a huge pitch there. There's no pitch in baseball that changes a count more than the 1-1 call. The difference in the OPS between a 1-2 count and a 2-1 count, there's nothing bigger in baseball. Pelfrey knew how big that pitch was.
Ground ball right side. Kingsler able to glove it, turns and throws. And with all that, the Royals get just 1 run in the inning. Escobar, the leadoff double. Moustakas goes the other way, and then Kane off the glove scores the run. The Tigers top of the second. Victor Martinez, JD Martinez, and Nick Castellanos to face Edinson Volquez. And Victor Martinez against Volquez has struggled in his career.
Oh, come on. You know you're going bad when the guy goes behind the back without looking with the bases loaded. And that's an out. 2 for 15 lifetime. is Victor against Edinson Volquez. You don't see those kind of numbers often. In fact, check this out. Minimum of 15 ABs for Victor against any pitcher. Volquez right there, bottom 3, 2 for 15, 133.
Martinez, Victor, 263, 2 home runs and 9 RBIs on the season. It was a 1-2-3 first for Volquez. Sat on that dugout bench for a long time in that bottom half of the inning. And only 1 run for the Royals as they left the bases loaded. In there for strike 2, no balls and 2 strikes.
Well, now Victor goes to work. They should just start him with 2 strikes. I think he's one of the best 2-strike hitters in all of baseball. He's only struck out 3 times this year. I know it's early, but in the last 2 years, he's looked at strike 3 only 5 times.
That's ridiculous. Doesn't strike out, ground ball to second, and Fonte comes in from the outfield grass to make the play. 1 away.
And Volquez's ownership of Victor continues.
I wonder at what point does it become mental?
I would think with a guy like Victor, never. I mean, really, I brought up the 2-strike hitting because I think he's one of the smartest hitters in baseball. He has such a flat swing from both sides of the plate. I imagine sometimes it does get in, especially a young hitter's head.
JD Martinez takes the first pitch in the dirt. JD continues to put up big numbers for these Tigers. 347, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs. Pulls it foul. 1 ball and 1 strike. If your last name is Martinez, you don't like facing Volquez if you're on the Tigers. 2 for 16 now for Victor and 1 for 12 for JD. In the dirt again, 2 balls and a strike.
That's the changeup. You know, Volquez is a guy, he throws that changeup as much to right-handed hitters as he does the left-handed hitters. In fact, I asked him about facing the Tigers lineup, obviously very heavy right-handed. There's the grip on the changeup. He said he actually prefers to pitch to left-handed hitters because it's easier for him to get the ball to arm side with the sinker and the change. But he's just as brave with that changeup to righties.
Pulled foul again, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
As I said, he loves the changeup with 2 strikes. Actually above 50% of the time, which is very unusual. Both sides of the plate. He'll go to the change.
Let's see what he does here.
There it
Went
is.
to the change. And there is his first strikeout of the game.
Right on right changeup. A lot of guys afraid to do that because sometimes the ball will work back into the barrel. Not Volquez. When this is your go-to pitch, right or left with 2 strikes, to me that's what announces to the hitter where my confidence is. And the confidence is fully in that changeup.
And there's a reason why you have that confidence in your changeup. Nick Castellanos digs in and he takes the first pitch fastball for a strike. Castellanos, the young third baseman for the Tigers, 348, couple of home runs and 8 RBIs.
Yeah, we saw that note about not giving up a home run on the changeup. It's a regular season number. In fact, going into the postseason last year, he'd thrown more than 1,000 consecutive changeups without giving up a home run until Chris Colabello got him in the postseason. Stunning.
One, swung on a miss, strike 2, 1-2 here to Castellanos. That fastball 92, 93, throwing the changeup around 85.
He's actually a tick or two down with that fastball right now early in the season.
The 1-2. Breaking ball in the outside corner, called strike 3. So back-to-back strikeouts for Volquez to end this second. He has faced 6, retired all 6 early on. The Royals on top, 1-0. Eight, 9-1 in the order for the Royals here in the bottom half of the second. Omar Infante against Mike Pelfrey, and Pelfrey misses down low for ball 1. Infante on the season, 289, no home runs, and a couple of RBIs. In their first strike, 1-1. Infante was the starting second baseman. Ben Zobrist came over. Zobrist helped his team win the World Series. 1-1 is fouled back. 1-2. Zobrist left as a free agent, went off to the Chicago Cubs, and Infante's back in there as a starting second baseman. And people have said he's come in kind of rejuvenated, trying to prove a point again.
Well, he's healthy. That's the big key. Unable to play in the second half of last season. And people forget this guy can be a very good offensive player.
Pelfrey's 1-2. Pull to third base. Castellanos over to first. One away here in the second. Scott's MLB Pitch, Hit, and Run is the official youth skills competition of Major League Baseball. It's free for boys and girls ages 7 through 14. Play your way to the national finals and have the chance to compete during All-Star Week in San Diego. Find a local competition in your area at pitchhitandrun.com. One away now for Gerard Dyson. Squares around a bunt, pulls it back, and takes the pitch for a ball. Dyson, 286. No home runs and an RBI. Missing inside, 2-0. Getting the chance to play right field here for the Royals. And I don't know, Tom, but if he's the everyday right fielder, the speedster, he might be the shortest everyday right fielder that I can remember.
You certainly don't want to walk Dyson. He's in danger of doing that right here because it's a potential double anytime he's on base. You got to go right after him. Not the kind of guy who's going to hurt you with a long ball, especially as slow as Pelfrey is to the plate. That's trouble. And he's done it.
A 4-pitch walk to Dyson with 1 out here in the second. Second walk of the game issued by Pelfrey.
.86% success rate against Pelfrey. All runners 78% in his career. Major league average in the low 70s. Pelfrey again has got to work really hard on his holds and his throwovers right here. He's a guy who wants to get a double play, but he has to keep it in order to keep Dyson at first.
A throw over. And you mentioned Escobar in the past loves to go after those first pitches. So now does he have to give Dyson a chance to try to steal a base before he swings?
He's got to treat this as a 2-0-3-1 count. The only way he swing is it's something he can hit for a double, keyhole something, center, middle. Otherwise, yeah, give him an opportunity to run. Dyson likes to go early in counts.
Pelfrey with that long hold.
You saw it last night. He got a base in the 9th inning, ran first pitch as the potential tying run.
Not going. Escobar squares around a bunt and bunts it foul.
That's totally on his own. You know, if you see Kansas City bunt, chances are it's the batter's decision. Ned Yost rarely puts a bunt on. He said maybe 4 times in the course of the year he'll order a bunt. Escobar obviously saw something with Castellanos maybe giving too much ground at third. Chance to not just move him up to get on base.
Not going again, fouls it back, and it's 0-2 here to Escobar, who doubled and scored the only run so far for these Royals. Escobar 7 for 19 in his career against Mike Pelfrey. Line drive, center field, falls for a base hit. First and second, 1 out. So Dyson never tries to steal. Escobar bunts one foul and fouls one back, and he takes that fork ball and singles to center.
See the lack of rotation? That's what he wants, but not up there at top of the zone. The trouble with splits and forks, when you leave them up, it's the easiest pitch to hit for a home run in baseball. They just hang. That one merely a base hit, but another hard hit baseball off Pelfrey.
First and second, 1 out for Moustakas, who singled to left center field his first time up. Takes the pitch down for ball 1. Pelfrey certainly struggling here in the first inning and a third for the Tigers. The Royals left the bases loaded in the first. A ground out by Perez. A nice play by Kindler to end the inning. A backdoor breaking ball in there, first strike, 1-1. At this point, if you're Jared Saltalamacchia, you're trying to figure out what can I put down that Pelfrey can throw for a strike but not get hit as hard as it's been getting hit.
Well, he's been throwing better two-seamers lower in the zone. With a sinker ball pitcher, you always feel like you're one pitch away from getting that double play.
On the inside corner, called strike 2.
Good comeback two-seamer right here. Moustakas gives up on it. He thought it went around the plate. Fox Tracks did, but the man who counts, Larry Vanover, said it caught plate.
Well, you said before that 1-1 is such a crucial pitch. What happens here? The 1-2, runners are going, throw down the third, and safe is Dyson. Escobar takes second, a double steal here by the Royals. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Mike Moustakas.
Well, Dyson saw 4 pitches out there, had Pelfrey time. We talked about the late kick, a little slow to the plate. Heads up base running, good read, and the trail runner Kane reads the lead runner, moves up as well.
And now you take away that double play option. The infield is back, giving up the run for the out. Missing outside, and now it's 3 balls and 2 strikes.
One of the most important things to Dale Swaim, the hitting coach here, is win full counts. No team in the league last year was better on full count batting average than Kansas City. They live for these spots.
The payoff pitch. Missing outside, ball 4. So there is the ring for Moustakas and the Royals, and the bases are loaded. 1 out for Lorenzo Cain. 3rd walk of the game issued by Pelfrey. And Brad Ausmus right now is looking on, wondering what can he do. No action in the bullpen.
Again, Pelfrey is not the kind of guy who's going to punch his way out of a jam. He's not a swing and miss kind of pitcher. He needs the ground ball.
Cain had the infield RBI single his first time up. That was with runners on the corners. Now it comes up with the bases loaded and 1 out. And the fastball is yanked low and outside for ball 1. This was the base hit by Cain, right back at Pelfrey. Off the glove, nothing he can do about it to score Alcides Escobar. Dyson at 3rd, Escobar at 2nd, and Moustakas at 1st. Pelfrey shakes off a sign. Again, and now Cain will ask for time. Down low, 2 balls and no strikes.
A little pep talk with himself right there. I think the problem here is he doesn't have a go-to pitch. He doesn't have anything that's been reliable enough where he can throw a quality strike. Not just a strike, but a quality strike.
Ten of the last 15 pitches have been balls for Mike Pelfrey. Behind in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Ground ball. Can he get to Iglesias to Kinsler for 1 to first? Double play. Just like that, again, wasted opportunities for the Royals. The defense of Iglesias able to start that double play. And that'll do it here in the 2nd. He's known for his glove, a good feed to Kinsler. We're through 2, 1-0 KC. Brought to you by Budweiser, and the question is, Tom, how are we at just 1-0?
Well, we said one of the keys of the game was for the Royals to create traffic jams, right?
Man, traffic jams, but haven't been able to produce anything out of it. 5 men left on base through 2 innings. They've had the bases loaded in both innings. Alcides Escobar is 2 for 2. Volquez has looked great. He's faced 6, retired all 6 of them, and now he's facing Jared Saltalamacchia. Evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike, and Saltalamacchia, what a surprise he has been for these Tigers. 313, 5 home runs, 14 RBIs. Was supposed to be the backup to James McCann. McCann got hurt, and so here's Saltalamacchia now starting, and all he's doing is crushing the ball.
Well, he has a great low ball swing. Really reminiscent to me a lot like Matt Adams of the Cardinals, even a Mike Trout. You tell even by his practice swings, he likes the ball down, and that's why Volquez has to throw that 2-seamer up to Saltalamacchia. 2-seamer down and away is right in his wheelhouse.
There is the pitch up, but it's 3 balls and 1 strike.
Yeah, Volquez not happy with himself. Belt and a little bit higher. Otherwise, you know, like a lot of left-handed hitters, but especially on the ball away down, Saltalamacchia can hit it a mile to any part of the field.
3-1, big swing and a miss there. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, that's elevated just enough. Good execution by Volquez on the 2-seamer. At the belt, you see the bat go underneath it. Anything lower than that is nitro zone for Saltalamacchia.
The payoff pitch from Volquez. Skied in the air, left field. Alex Gordon, one of the best outfielders in the game, is there for the first out here in the 3rd. It's funny, you mentioned before Miguel Cabrera during batting practice, you can figure out what his approach might be that day. If you can get to the ballpark early, watch Alex Gordon take outfield during BP. He plays it like it's a game.
Getting reads on the baseball in real time. There's a reason he's got all those gold gloves.
Tyler Collins will bat with 1 out here in the 3rd. Shows bunt, pulls it back on the off-speed pitch.
Although, you know, Justin, early in this game, it's not easy playing the outfield because of the light here. You know, a little earlier starts in April and September here in Kansas City. It's really not until the 3rd or 4th inning when darkness really takes over and the lights take over that the outfielders will get a good look on the baseball. Twilight is the toughest time.
Well, 3rd inning today because of all the men left on base by the Royals.
Yeah. And you'll see the batter's eye in center field still has some sunshine on it. Probably another half inning before that's all dark.
Outside, 2-1. As we showed Alex Gordon just before, did you think the Royals were going to be able to re-sign him in the offseason?
No, I thought he'd be much more in demand. Not to say that other teams didn't want him, but I thought he'd get priced out of his hometown.
2-1 in the air, 2 left. Gordon goes back. He is there, and 2 away.
Well, you know, back in 2005, which I think was the greatest draft ever, who was drafted 1st and 2nd? Our left fielders tonight, Justin Upton and Alex Gordon. Now check the career numbers. A lot of similarities here, right? Especially the on-base percentage. Upton, why does he get so much more money? Well, he does have a higher power quotient, more of a home run hitter. But the age difference, 4 years younger. And I think that's what hurt, if you want to use the word hurt, with Alex Gordon on the free agent market. A little bit older, 32.
Iglesias back up the middle. This will be a CNI single for Jose Iglesias, the first base runner of the game for the Tigers.
Top of that draft was Upton, Gordon, Ryan Zimmerman was 4th pick. And Ryan Braun was in that one. Troy Tulowitzki, Cameron Maben. And oh, by the way, at number 9, Mike Pelfrey by the Mets.
Cameron Maben, Justin Upton, now teammates with Detroit.
Andrew McCutchen, Jay Bruce.
Wasn't Andrew Miller that year too? Oh, no. Miller was the next year.
Yeah, because he was a high pick.
Snap throw back to first, and Iglesias is back in standing up. Well, there you saw a glimpse of the arm of Salvador Perez.
Loves to throw. He's got the arm to do it. Doesn't have to even get out of the crouch to throw a strike.
One ball, no strikes to Kinsler. Fouled out to third his first time as Iglesias took off on the pitch, but a foul ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Two away, top of the third, 1-0, Royals on top. The first base runner of the game for the Tigers, Iglesias, on at first base. Breaking ball, foul down the first baseline to the seats. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Kinsler.
Well, it seems like every time a Royals runner gets on, you think about the possibility of a stolen base. Complete inverse with Detroit. Just 2 stolen bases this year. They feel with all their power, even at first base, you're in scoring position.
The 1-2 from Volquez. Down low, 2 balls and 2 strikes. It is a total change in philosophy, or difference in philosophies of how you construct a team with what the Royals have and what the Tigers have. Like you said, the power. I mean, you said at the top of the show, this Tigers offense 1 through 5 might be the best in baseball. In the dirt, Perez with a block, 3-2.
Yeah, you see Volquez there double up on the changeup on 2 strikes. He could triple up if he wants, but yeah, the offense for the Tigers is a batter's box offense. By that I mean it's really relying on what the guys do at the plate, where Kansas City just put the ball in play, run first to third, second to home, put pressure on pitchers, even with the threat of steals.
Iglesias will be off with the pitch. There he goes, the 3-2 line to left field. This will get down in front of Gordon. Iglesias trying for third. Moustakas with a tag. He's out. You're always taught, don't make the first or third out of the inning at third, and that's what Iglesias just did. You don't run on Alex Gordon. Bottom half of the third, first pitch from Pelfrey to Hosmer's in there for a strike. No balls and 1 strike to Hosmer, who lined out to shortstop for a double play back in the first. We're joined in the Royals dugout by last night's starting pitcher Ian Kennedy.
Hey,
the 0-1 from Pelfrey. Ian, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Last night, another good outing for you. 6 1/3, 6 hits, 2 runs, couple walks, 7 strikeouts. As far as your comfort level coming over here to Kansas City, what's it been early on for you?
These guys make it really comfortable. Great coaching staff, but the players are all really close knit and tight players, and they made it really comfortable for me to come over here and kind of join this culture that they've created.
Well, you're back in the American League, first time in about 7 years, I think. What's it been like in terms of your routine, knowing that there's not a spot in the lineup for you?
Yeah, right. It's good in some points, and then I kind of like the distraction of hitting, but it's made me just focus on pitching a little bit. Not run. I didn't have to run bases too often as a National League hitter anyway. So it's kind of the same thing. Sit around, don't have to worry about when I'm up and on deck and stuff like that. But it's fun.
Hey, Ian, when you're going through the free agent process like you went through in the offseason, what are the factors that you look at when trying to figure out what team you want to sign with?
Yeah, it's a lot of times, you watch a lot of teams that potentially have to win and, have that team chemistry that I really wanted to be part of. I haven't had that the last couple of years, and I remember 2011 for me was probably the most fun I've had playing baseball. And just hopefully you have one of those teams that are really interested in you. So luckily Dayton and everybody in the staff kind of was really interested early on, and it was fun watching these guys in the playoffs and the last couple of years, and it was kind of an easy thing for me to do. Luckily, like I said, Dayton and staff wanted me over here.
Well, Ian, when you signed here, the first thing I thought about was you as a fly ball pitcher in this ballpark with this outfield defense behind you. You just got a chance to see, not that you didn't know it already, Alex Gordon showing off his arm right there. How much did that factor into your decision, the fit of the ballpark and the defense?
Well, that's one of the things you see. Guys that are playing in the playoffs every single year, or playing deep in the playoffs. They always all of them have good defenses, and you don't get that far not having that. And coming over here, I talked to Dayton right away, and he said, I think ballpark set aside, these guys are fast. They cover ground. They've made some unbelievable plays behind me, and you don't realize it until you pitch in front of them. And Eske, I forget how good he was. I got to see him night in, night out, and Eske's made some unbelievable plays while I'm on the mound. And when I remember the first couple games I was watching, I watched Locane run some balls down. I watched I don't know who was playing right, but it's unbelievable watching these guys throw guys out. And, Gordo and left he's something special when you look out there and look at the arm.
Kenjis Morales at the plate, swings the first pitch, 0-1 after a leadoff walk to Eric Hosmer. A good at bat by Hosmer. We're talking with Ian Kennedy of the Royals here, bottom half of the third, 1-0, Kansas City on top. Ian, one thing that I think anybody who watches you, when you go to the stretch and you go down low, a la Mike Mussina, who was your teammate with the Yankees when you came up, as a fan, wanting to know, why do you do that? How did you start doing it?
I started doing it in college when I had a hard time going from my changeup to my curveball grip, and I was kind of Mike Mussina-esque. I wasn't really trying to do that. I did watch Mussina a lot, but I was joking around in the outfield and like, hey, I can get my curveball out of this. And, I was just messing around with it. And I remember in 2008 where they asked me not to be so much like Mussina and maybe save my back a little bit and just kind of come together. And it gave me time to get to my grip, because I start with my changeup grip, which makes it a little more difficult to get to on other pitches. But yeah, that was pretty much my only reasoning. I was messing around in college trying to find some way to get a curveball grip with my knuckle curve.
Well, it seems to have worked out pretty well for you.
Oh, thank you. 1
ball, 2 strikes here to Morales. He singled his first time up and pulls this one foul. Ian, as a pitcher, you see what your team has done in the first 2 innings. Left the base loaded in the first, a double play with a base load in the second. You see you guys are right on the cusp of breaking the game open. How do you how does the dugout keep their mood high, and how do you as a pitcher be like, man, I could have had a big lead right now, not get down on yourself?
You know, sitting here watching the game, I was talking to Gore, and it's a lot of wear and tear on the opposing pitcher. You can throw those stressful pitches, and
in the air, center field. Collins going back. He's got room, make the catch on the warning track. And here's Hosmer with that aggressive base running, tagging up and taking second.
Just great base running right there. Got his initial read, saw how far the ball was carrying, ran back, tagged. One of the most athletic first basemen you'll find. I think he's one of the best base runners, period, regardless of position.
In any case, Ian, you were saying?
I was saying, like, Pelf's got to throw, I don't know how many pitches he has right now, but 60 pitches, and it's the third inning. It's those are stressful pitches when you got the bases loaded. And they got a great shortstop, Iglesias, so he's kind of saved him a little bit, and we've kind of hit into him right at him. But it's definitely a lot of wear and tear, a lot of stressful pitches. And our lineup is it's a tough lineup to get around, kind of like theirs. You got to navigate through it.
Alex Gordon now steps in. Gordon walked his first time up, and also he helped out defensively in that last inning. A couple of fly balls to him, and then the assist to third to end the inning. Alex Gordon, 245, a home run, 4 RBIs. Again, we are speaking with Ian Kennedy last night, 6 1/3, 6 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. And we put up a graphic just before. Of your 21 strikeouts this year, 17 have come via the fastball.
I didn't know that.
I want to know. Well, I want to know about this because your fastball velocity is now about major league average, about 92, and you throw it up in the zone and you get swings and misses. Where's the magic behind that?
I wish I knew. I've always, even though I started throwing harder as I got older. I don't know what it is. Maybe my dad's strength came in, and after I had my 3rd and 4th kid, it took 3 or 4 kids to come about. But it's just when you're throwing the ball down, it helps. When the fastball is locating, it allows you to throw other things like your changeup down there. And I don't know. I just throw the 4-seam fastball, try to throw it with conviction, and hope for the best sometimes.
So far, so good. Again, 17 of those 21 strikeouts have come on the fastball. 2 balls and 1 strike to Gordon. And that pitch misses outside. Now 3-1 to Alex Gordon. Again, another inning with a runner in scoring position here for the Royals. Hosmer at second, 1 out. Gordon at the plate. Good hitters count, 3-1. Alex Gordon had a home run last night in the 9th inning. 3-1 taken for a strike, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, Ian, I wanted to ask you about another pitch you have, the changeup. And we're watching Edison Volquez tonight. He's just fearless with that changeup, the right-on-right changeup. You do that as well. What's the key to executing that pitch that a lot of right-handed pitchers will stay away from against right-handed hitters?
Yeah, I started throwing that in pro ball. Gil Patterson was one of the ones with the Yankees, and he was kind of helped me out as I signed. And he asked me if I ever thrown a changeup to a righty. And back in college, he didn't do that. And I started doing it. And if you execute it right, if it's right, it's a foul ball if they make contact. If not, it's a swing and miss. And it looks just like all the good hitters have a hard time recognizing the changeup, whether you're right-handed or left-handed. And I think just try to. The most emphasis you put on it, try to make it look just like a fastball. And Volke's got one of the better ones I've ever seen. I played catch with him in the past, but I forgot how good it was when I played catch with him in spring training. It has so much depth to it, and that's what makes it so good. You have a changeup that has a lot of side-to-side movement, but you want the depth more than anything.
Salvador Perez steps in, 0 for 1, ground out to second. 2 outs now after the strikeout. And Perez, a ground ball to third. We'll get you out on this one. You mentioned Volquez and his changeup when you came in spring training. How much do you pick up? Do you tinker with grips when you come over and you talk to a guy like Volquez who's got a changeup that's so good?
I've gotten to the point now where I've been true to myself and kind of to be a good self-evaluator, not try to reinvent myself. I'll ask him how he's doing. He's got such big hands that he just kind of, it rolls off his hands. They're really flexible. So I watched him throw it. You can see how he pronates it, and it gets a great amount of depth.
Well, Ian, we appreciate you taking the time to join us. Congratulations on the good start, and keep it up.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Ian Kennedy joining us here in the bottom half of the third inning. Signed a 5-year contract here with the Royals in the offseason. And I think it's really funny when we're able to point something out that they don't realize, that, you know, of all those strikeouts coming on the fastball, and to see him chuckle about that is pretty neat. 1 ball, 1 strike to Salvador Perez. Runner on second is Hosmer. And it's outside again. 2 balls and a strike.
And you mentioned that contract, and I know it received a lot of criticism for the amount of money Kansas City paid Ian, but to me, there's a huge value in having someone who can almost guarantee, if there is such a thing with pitching, 200 innings. And it sounds like not a big difference between 160 and 200, but it's huge in terms of saving the bullpen. They just didn't get enough innings last year, even while winning the World Series, out of their starters. He's definitely going to help in that regard.
Fouled off. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Perez. A 5-year, $70 million contract signed by Ian Kennedy. And this is a guy who, if I'm not mistaken, when he came up with the Yankees, it was Kennedy, Phil Hughes, Jabba Chamberlain. And there was a game here in Kansas City, I think it was in 2008, when there was rain in the forecast. And they didn't know if they should start him, because if they started him, then they might have to sit him. And it was a whole big to-do, and that took place right here at Kauffman Stadium. And the rain, I don't think it ever came. A broken bat up the middle. Kinsler with the backhand has time with Perez running and makes the play. So that'll do it. A leadoff walk goes for naught here for the Royals. We're through 3, 1-0 KC. And Saturday before Jones battles St. Preux for the interim belt at UFC 197. The prelims begin on FS1 as young and hungry Sergio Pettis takes on Chris Kalidas, plus Danny Roberts looks to follow up on his spectacular debut when he squares off against veteran Dominique Steele. It all begins 7 p.m. Eastern only on FS1, or watch it live on Fox Sports Go. Top of the 4th, it'll be 2-3-4. Justin Upton, Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez against Edinson Volquez. And Upton popped out to second his first time up, fouled the first one to third base, and now it's no balls and 1 strike. And it's got to be weird for Justin Upton to come over, sign that big contract in the offseason, and hit number 2 in the lineup.
The lineup's that good. Maybe that's a good thing for him not to have to be the guy in the lineup. Off to a slow start, been a lot of swing and miss in his game early on here in the season, but he has been an extremely streaky hitter on both ends of the spectrum. When he's hot, he can carry you for a month.
Gets into one to left center field. Gordon on the run. Gordon still running, reaches out. Does he make the catch? He does. Wow! The entire team is raising their cap to Alex Gordon.
My goodness, watch how far he runs for this baseball. It continues to carry away from him. He knows the wall is sneaking up on him and lays out on the track. Just amazing athleticism. Make the adjustment while the ball was in the air and then to lay out on the track. Wow.
A standing ovation by these fans. Every Royals player tipping their cap to Alex Gordon. I got to be honest, I've never seen a batter wait so that the fans can applaud a defensive play. Cabrera takes the first pitch down low. Miguel Cabrera is also not your typical player, but look at him. Yep, all right. Keep on clapping, that deserves it. Remarkable. Fouls it back, 1 ball and 1 strike. I don't know about you, but I'm still sitting here thinking about that catch.
You know, he ran such a long way that Justin Upton was basically almost to second base by the time he laid out on the track. And he couldn't believe it.
The 1-1 to Cabrera. Ground ball, shortstop. Escobar over to first, 2 outs. Let's check in with Kevin Burkhardt for an update. How about those Cubs? 11-4. They lose Kyle Schwarber. You think, uh-oh, what's going to happen?
They keep rolling. Haven't lost 2 games in a row yet. I like their chances today too. The lead and Arrieta.
2 outs now for Victor Martinez. He grounded out to second his first time up. Martinez picked up his 1,000th career RBI last night. The switch hitting former catcher turned first baseman, DH.
I asked him about that last night because they stopped the game to get him the ball. He wasn't aware at the time it was RBI number 1,000. He thought they were stopping the game for a pinch runner. He said, I don't want to come out.
Foul tipped, and that got Perez.
The amazing thing again about Victor Martinez to me is we see another 2-strike count. His ability to do damage and avoid the strikeout, keep the ball in play. Only the 3rd hitter, switch hitter, with 1,000 RBIs and fewer than 1,000 strikeouts. The other ones, Frankie Frisch and Ted Simmons.
Oh, recent players.
Yeah, Frankie Frisch. Just a couple of years ago.
The 0-2 goes the other way.
And that's why.
Victor Martinez, who has struggled in his career against Edinson Volquez, able to wait on that breaking ball and go the other way with it.
And that's why I would not overshift on him with 2 strikes. Too good of a hitter with 2 strikes. He's not going to roll over on that baseball. He's not going to try to pull it. Watch him stay back, take it the other way.
Runner on first. 2 away here in the 4th for J.D. Martinez, who struck out his first time up. And the first pitch fastball misses inside for ball 1. .340, a couple home runs, 6 RBIs on the season. One of 2 strikeout victims in the game for Volquez. It was back-to-back Martinez and Castellanos in the second. Change up, misses. 2 balls and a strike. 2 balls and no strike, excuse me.
Yeah, that's an intentional miss inside too. I mean, that's the thing about that changeup to right-handers. It's not just backdoor it outside. He'll run that down and in as he did right there. Just couldn't get Martinez to bite.
Goes back to that changeup and gets a swing and miss.
That's just a thing of beauty right there. 2-0.
It almost looks like he was trying to fight back a smile.
I mean, listen, you think you're going to see a fastball. He just missed with a 1-0 changeup, comes right back with it, perfectly executed.
Ground ball short. Escobar goes right through the legs. Something you don't see very often from Alcides Escobar. That is the 3rd error of the season by Escobar, and it's 1st and 2nd with 2 outs.
Ball did come up on him, but he wasn't quite there in time to get himself set. Watch, he's still gliding over a little bit, and the ball comes up on him. Yeah, take a look back. See how much it came up. It's going to hit the heel. Didn't even get the heel. That surprised him, that hop.
Now Castellanos at the plate. Could be a dangerous hitter here, and this is where the lineup gets so dangerous for this Tigers team, because you've got a guy like Castellanos hitting in that 6th hole. He's got the home run power, a couple home runs, 8 RBIs. And this is how this team is built. Saltalamacchia behind him with 5 home runs and 14 RBIs. And the first pitch changeup is inside for ball 1. We've seen the Royals put men on base, score just 1 run. Now you wonder, will the Tigers take advantage of a 2-out error? Timeout at the plate. The inning started with that phenomenal running catch by Alex Gordon in the gap in left center field on the warning track to take an extra base hit away from Justin Upton. And a ground out to short by Cabrera, a 2-out, 2-strike single by Victor Martinez, and now the error to Escobar, and it's 2 balls and no strikes here to Castellanos.
There's 2 good takes too by Castellanos. 2 changeups falling out of the zone.
Castellanos does not have a walk on the season. Takes the fastball down low, 3-0. Could we see it?
Stop the presses.
Could we see it?
1 pitch away.
Or do you green light him?
Well, I would green light him actually, because I just keyhole fastball, sinker over the plate. I know he's a young hitter, but experienced enough by now not to chase 3-0. Why not?
Not swinging, in a 4-pitch walk to Nick Castellanos, his first walk of the season. In 47 at-bats, his first walk. The bases are loaded. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you have come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Visit MLB.TV for details. So the error by Escobar extends the inning. A 2-out walk to Castellanos loads the bases, and now Jared Saltalamacchia at the plate, who flew out to left field his first time up. And he takes the first pitch up high, and now Salvador Perez is going to go out and talk to Edinson Volquez. Jared Saltalamacchia against the Pittsburgh Pirates. His 100th career home run. It was a grand slam back on April 13th.
Did you see where that pitch was, Justin?
Low.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Volquez knows that. Needs to make a quality strike right here. Belt and above with the two-seamer.
Fouled straight back. Good swing by Saltalamacchia.
That's good enough. That's up enough against Saltalamacchia. Got himself back in the count with this pitch.
One ball, one strike, 2 outs, bases loaded. Here in the fourth, 1-0. Kansas City on top of Detroit in the rubber game of this 3-game set. Up high, 2 balls and a strike. Martinez at third with that 2-out, 2-strike single. Castellanos worked the walk, 4-pitch walk. Martinez at second after the error by Escobar. 2 balls, 1 strike. The count to Saltalamacchia. And timeout is asked and granted. The 2-1 from Volquez. Breaking ball falls in for a strike, 2-2. We haven't seen many curveballs from Volquez. That one, I think, may have caught Saltalamacchia by surprise.
That's a good location. I think you're right. Surprise factor right here. Now it's either the changeup down or that two-seamer up.
Got him swinging. Fastball, 95. And the Tigers leave the bases loaded here in the fourth. But the inning started with a phenomenal catch by Alex Gordon. We go to the bottom half of the fourth, 1-0 Royals. A beautiful sunset here in Kansas City. Bottom half of the fourth, 1-0. Royals still on top of the Tigers. Justin Kutcher alongside Tom Verducci. And Omar Infante will lead things off here. And he swings the first pitch forkball and misses. No balls and 1 strike. Infante grounded out to third base his first time up.
You did say 1-0, right? Because it feels like it's about 10-9. 14 runners on base. Only one has made it home.
2 for 7 with runners in scoring position for the Royals. 6 men left on base. That would be a reason why you thought they may have had 10 runs.
And you see the pitch count there for Mr. Pelfrey at 73, starting the 4th inning here.
Missing inside, 2 balls and 1 strike. In that first inning, bases were loaded. Salvador Perez grounded out to second to end the inning. In the second, a 6-4-3 double play, beautifully turned by Iglesias and Kinsler with the bases loaded. Ground ball, third base, past the diving Castellanos, and that was off the glove. And this will trickle into the corner, and that's an easy stand-up leadoff double for Omar Infante, his 5th double of the season. It's also the 2nd leadoff double for the Royals in this game. Alcides Escobar led off the first of the double, and he came around to score the only run so far.
You know, if you're Mike Pelfrey, you say, I got my ground ball. Just wasn't in the right spot. You know, again, a guy who doesn't have swing and miss stuff. 75 pitches, only 2 swings and misses so far. But all those jams you mentioned, Justin, he's been able to get out of with a ground ball each time.
Now he faces Gerard Dyson, who walked and stole a base his first time up. Castellanos expecting a bunt, and they turn to look at second to see if Dyson was in fact going to give it away.
Oh, I'd be surprised if he bunts here. I think he can pull the ball, at least even get him in from second base here against, again, not a power hitter, not a power pitcher, not a swing and miss guy. I'd give Dyson a shot to swing the bat against the right-hander.
Especially when you have Escobar and Moustakas coming up top of the order after him. He does show bunt, pulls it back, and takes the pitch down low for a ball. And now Saltalamacchia will go out and talk with Pelfrey.
And again, the manager here, Ned Yost, he'll let his guys play. And I'm sure he's leaving this at bat in Dyson's hands.
Already 6 men left on base for the Royals. They've had a runner in scoring position every inning so far, but just 1 run thus far to show for it. 1-0, Dyson offers, and it's 1-1.
He knows that wasn't a good attempt, stabbing at the baseball, the sinker running away from him.
Again, squares around, bunts it right back to Pelfrey. And Saltalamacchia says, go to first, take the out. Sacrifice 1-4. Down to third base goes Infante.
I just don't see a lot of this in today's game. The 4th inning of an American League game. You have the platoon advantage in your favor against a right-handed guy who's not a strikeout thrower, and you give yourself up. I'm not in love with it. I did the job, got him over. You don't see that much often this early in an American League game. It does bring the infield in for Escobar.
Pelfrey again hoping for a ground ball. He's got 1 strikeout on the night, and this is not a ground ball. Instead, hit well to left field. Upton going back on the warning track makes the catch, and tagging up is Infante.
So the small ball pays off for the Royals here. Somewhere Gene Mauch is smiling. The first sac bunt for Kansas City this year. A sac bunt followed by a sac fly. Escobar gave it a ride. 2-0 Kansas City, and Moustakas will bat with the bases empty. That was the first pitch back, 0-1. Missing outside, 1 ball and 1 strike to Moustakas, a single and a walk on the night. Let me ask you a question. You said you weren't a fan of it. It's the 4th inning. If it were the 7th inning, would you like that play by Dyson?
Yeah, I mean, generally, it's later in the game, obviously, fewer chances to tack on runs. You're also probably into a bullpen where you're facing more power pitchers, tougher to hit. And I just think this is a case where you play for 1 run, you get 1 run. That's fine late in the game when 1 run may win you the game. But I still think you have a big inning in order.
Moustakas to center field. Collins over his head. It's over the wall. Home run, Moustakas. The 5th home run of the season for Mike Moustakas. And it's now 3-0 Kansas City. Maybe they're just better tonight with no men on base.
Yeah, Justin, the other point I was going to make is they've been having good swings against Mike Pelfrey all night. You know, you're not locked into a game where every 90 feet is precious. You're trying to squeeze something out against a dominating pitcher. Hit a lot of hard hit balls against Mike Pelfrey. None harder than that one by Moustakas. That was laced. See the target down. Watch Saltalamacchia's glove. A little bit too much over the plate. Well, that was loud, wasn't it?
It was loud. It was a laser. The 3-0 to Kane. Missing inside, ball 4. So after the home run, a 4-pitch walk to Lorenzo Cain. And how about the 1 through 3 hitters for the Royals tonight are 5 for 6, couple of runs, 3 RBIs, a double, a home run, and a couple of walks as well. They love Moose here in Kansas City. Hosmer, swing and a miss.
You know, you saw in that shot of the crowd, a lot of kids here. You know, Royals moved these early season April games to 6:15 local time starts. Enable the kids to get out here and still get on the school bus tomorrow morning. I love it.
I think it's a great idea. Hosmer fights one off foul. No balls and 2 strikes. I wonder if other teams will take notice of this. And, you know, it's hard to say. Is it because 6:15 they get more fans?
This guy's got a story to tell. Show and tell tomorrow at school.
Or is it because they're coming off a World Series championship that they're
a little bit of both? You know, their attendance for these midweek games, 6:15, has been up more than 10,000 over similar dates last year. Of course, winning the World Series helps. Sure, their pre-sales were really good here. But I think it's a lot easier to bring the family out here for a 6:15 midweek game than 7:15.
April and September.
It's a great idea.
No balls, 2 strikes to Hosmer. Lined into a double play and also walked. A humpback liner into left field for a base hit. Stopping at second base is Kane. It's first and second, 2 outs here in the 4th. With the Royals on top 3-0, and that extends the hitting streak to 11 games now for Eric Hosmer.
See, that ball's in, and Hosmer still likes to go the other way. That's his natural stroke. If I'm a pitcher, I want to crowd him in. I want to invite him to try to pull the ball. Check this out from last year. Batting average on balls in play. Much better to the opposite side than to the pull side. And that's been consistent throughout his career. Likes to get those arms extended. Works the ball extremely well the other way.
90th pitch of the game coming up here for Mike Pelfrey. Bottom half of the 4th inning. It's Kendrys Morales at the plate. 1 for 2. A single and a fly out to center field. And with Pelfrey struggling, there is action in the bullpen. Kyle Ryan is throwing out there for the Tigers. The southpaw.
Well, let's see if Pelfrey can do it again. He's ended every inning with runners in scoring position by getting a ground ball.
Foul back, 1-1.
But as Ian Kennedy talked about, look at that pitch count now at 91. When you've thrown so many of those 91 pitches out of the stretch, you know, that 91, that takes more out of you than pitching out of the windup with nobody on and not having stress on you. So now having to execute a pitch here against a very good hitter, runner in scoring position, pitch count over 90, a true test for Mike Pelfrey.
You don't see that very often, where every inning is 20 or more pitches. Missing outside. 2 balls and a strike. The Royals had opportunities in the first, left the bases loaded. Had the bases loaded in the second, didn't get a run. Had a man in scoring position in the third, didn't get a run. They put 2 across here in this 4th, hoping for a 2-out base hit by Morales. And a look back to Kane at second. Hosmer at first, Kane at second. And 3-0 Royals on top in a 3rd game of this 3-game set. The 2-1 runners go, throw down to third. Castellanos can't make the play. Kane is going to come in to score, and Hosmer goes to third. They're going to say stolen base E2. It looked to me like Castellanos should have made the play.
It looked like maybe he took his eyes a little bit off the baseball as it tailed away from him. But Lorenzo Cain, watch this. Yeah, he doesn't look it all the way in, and there was a little bit of tail on that throw. Lorenzo Cain, the master at stealing third base, led the majors last year, stealing third 12 times. Now 22 out of 24 in his career stealing third base.
4-0. Runner now at third with 2 outs, and the count 3-1. Ground ball, first base. Cabrera will take it himself, and that will do it. But a crooked number in the inning finally for the Royals. Moustakas, the solo shot to center field. It's now 4-0 at the end of 4. Royals on top. Mike Moustakas with a solo shot in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Lorenzo Cain manufacturing a run with his legs. Stolen base. By the way, they changed that error from Jared Saltalamacchia now to Nick Castellanos that allowed Cain to come in to score. And Tyler Collins will lead things off. He's the one who had the ball go over his head and over the wall and straightaway center field on the home run by Moustakas. Collins 0 for 1, flew out to left field, his only time up. There's a strike, no balls and 2 strikes. No runs on 3 hits, 1 error for the Tigers. 4 runs on 8 hits, 1 error for the Royals. The Tigers had a chance in the 4th, left the bases loaded when Saltalamacchia struck out. Collins pulls it foul, stays 0-2. The pitch count by inning for Volquez, much better than we saw from Mike Pelfrey.
Yeah, last pitch he threw to end last inning, Saltalamacchia, his best fastball today, 95.
Good job by Collins, the emergency swing to foul that one off. The best seats at every ballpark for every game. Visit MLB.com/tickets today. Another 0-2. Up by 1 ball and 2 strikes. Backdoor breaking ball called, strike 3. 4th strikeout of the game for Edinson Volquez. And it's back-to-back strikeouts going back to the 4th inning for him.
You call it perfectly executed. The hitter gives up on this breaking ball, just gets the outside part of the plate. Fingers on the side of the baseball, pulling it down. Nice frame job by Salvador Perez.
I'm glad you said frame.
As opposed to?
I felt like last year there was a call for a different term for that, and it's I'm drawing a blank on what
Presenting?
it is right now. Presenting, yes.
Sounds like a game show. Price is Right, maybe.
Little flare to first, and there is the Gold Glover Hosmer. But he just forgot how many outs there were.
There's only 2 outs, buddy. There you go. You got it. Don't worry, we didn't see that. Nobody will bring it up in the dugout later.
Oh, that's great. I thought he was just trying to be a good guy, give a fan a souvenir.
And he was cool up until that point.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Two away now, top of the order, Ian Kinsler. And Kinsler takes the first pitch down low for a ball. Kinsler 1 for 2, a single back in the 3rd, fouled out to 3rd base his first time up. Breaking ball in the dirt, 2 balls and no strikes. Pours that strike in there with a fastball at 94.
Saw Larry Vanover behind the plate with the call. Do you know that this is the first game he's calling with Volquez on the mound? I found it to be amazing. Volquez had pitched 228 games.
Cued off the end of the bat. This one has a chance of rolling back fair, and now Volquez will pick it up in foul territory.
And that's because, you know, there's obviously no more league umpires, and starting pitchers just don't see umpires the way they used to. Several times a year you would see the same umpires because they didn't do both leagues. We have more umpires now. We have And then when they went to replay, they had to hire more umpires because we have crews that rotate through New York. Just to give you an idea, Sandy Koufax in his career, back when it was just National League umpires, had 13 games with Doug Harvey behind the plate. Of course, Doug Harvey, a Hall of Fame umpire, was known as God by the players because he was never wrong. Koufax was known as the left arm of God.
Kinsler lines one to left. Gordon can't get to this one. And Kinsler will be into second base with a 2-out double.
So just to finish, what happened when God was calling games of the left hand of God? Koufax went 11-0 with a 2.03 ERA.
Well, his ERA was inflated then. So. Wow. You don't mess with God.
No, that's the lesson.
Another multi-hit game for Ian Kinsler. That's his 9th of the year. And that leads all of Major League Baseball. And Justin Upton at the plate. He's the one who flew out to left field in that 4th inning on the phenomenal play by Alex Gordon. And Upton takes the first pitch for a strike. You know, we talked about the last time he came up how he doesn't have to be the guy in this offense. And it's almost a surprise that he's off to this type of a start, because you would think he would see a lot of good pitches with Miguel Cabrera batting right behind him.
You would think he's such a lower half hitter. Legs so important to Justin Upton. In fact, when he's going well, it's almost a knock-knee stance where he's got his knees closer together. He really likes to feel his legs underneath him. And so far, he just hasn't found that groove early in the season. Watch him take his stance. When he's going well, he likes to have his knees a little closer together. Spread out stance, but keeps those thighs closer together than most hitters. See a little knock-knee action there. He'll go even farther sometimes. To feel that good solid base.
2-0 pull to the shortstop. Escobar stays down on this one, makes the play, and that'll do it for the 5th. No runs on 1 hit, 1 man left on. That was the 2nd out by Eric Hosmer. Yep, my bad. Just 2 down. Bottom half of the 5th, 4-0. Royals lead the Tigers. Justin Kutcher, Tom Verducci here at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. Mike Pelfrey still out there on the hill for the Tigers. He has struggled through the first 4 innings. 95 pitches now. 1-0 the count to Alex Gordon, who has walked and struck out. And that's in there for a strike. 1-1. Gordon, the only strikeout victim of the game for Mike Pelfrey.
Well, you've got a pitcher who pitches to contact and a team that's the best in the business at making contact. Royals playing their game today.
Fastball in there, 2 balls and 2 strikes. You know, Brad Ausmus is hoping just to get through this 5th inning with Pelfrey, because the Tigers head back home to take on the Indians in a 3-game set. Justin Verlander will get the start tomorrow. One hopper, diving stop by Kinsler from a knee, throws out Gordon. Well, I tell you what we have seen tonight. We've seen some pretty good defense. But let's go back to the studio and check in with Kevin Burkhardt. Jake Arrieta in his Cy Young season last year, he had a no-hitter. The first pitch to Salvador Perez in their first strike. That was the 100th pitch of the game.
You know, before last season, the Cubs coaching staff and front office actually got together to come up with a no-hitter protocol, basically based on Arrieta and John Lester with the kind of stuff that they have in terms of when do you take a guy out, or do you when the pitch count gets elevated, just in anticipation of the stuff that Jake Arrieta has. And they actually thought they'd get multiple no-hitters from Jake Arrieta. They got the one at Dodger Stadium against the Dodgers, but it reminds me of Justin Verlander in his Cy Young years. Every time he took the mound, it was like Nolan Ryan. If he had a no-no going through even 3 innings, one time through the lineup, you'd say he's got a chance. Arrieta is that guy right now, each time he takes the ball.
Foul tipped into the mitt and a strikeout. Salvador Perez, the only player on the Royals team right now not to reach base against Pelfrey, and there are 2 outs here in the 5th.
But with that low pitch count Arrieta has, it makes it easy on manager Joe Madden. He did talk with Jake in spring training about, hey, listen, this year, after all the innings you pitched last year, we're going to back off on you late in games. If we have a game in hand, you're coming out after 7. We'll have other people pick up the last couple of innings of a game.
Omar Infante takes the first pitch, breaking ball, first strike. What do you think about that?
I like it because the Cubs now are planning for 7 months, whereas last year they were hoping that there was a 7th month of baseball to be playing in October.
Pop up right side of the infield, Kinsler. And there is a 1-2-3 inning worked by Pelfrey in the 5th. We go to the 6th, 4-0 Royals. Top of the 6th here in Kansas City. Royals lead the Tigers 4-0. Saturday, David Ortiz looks to continue the blistering start to his final season as he leads the Red Sox against Jose Altuve and the Astros. It all starts at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on FS1 or watch it live on Fox Sports Go. Boston Red Sox 7-7 on the season. Miguel Cabrera leading things off, takes the first pitch breaking ball from Volquez, first strike. Cabrera's 0 for 2, a ground out to first and a ground out to short. The Astros surprisingly 5-10 entering today. 1 ball, 1 strike to Cabrera. David Ortiz in his final year putting up good numbers yet again. Even a stolen base.
That's what's great about baseball. You can play with any kind of size and body type. Huh? That's your example right there.
Cabrera pulls the breaking ball to short. Easy play for Escobar. 1 away here in the 6th. It's nice to see a resurgence of the little guy in baseball. Altuve, Pedroia, Gerard Dyson, Gore.
Yeah, it's a better game. I mean, although I'll tell you, Altuve, he doesn't play like a little guy.
No.
I mean, 15 home runs last year. He may hit even more than this year. He is fun to watch.
Victor Martinez singled his last time up.
Check this swing out.
Opposite field. Well, do you think Pedroia plays like a little guy?
No. But this guy, man, I love watching him play. What energy.
Fastball in there, 1 ball and 1 strike to Victor Martinez. Outside 2-1. We were speaking with Justin Verlander before the game today in the clubhouse, and Verlander in 2005 made his major league debut against the Cleveland Indians, and he said his big league moment when he realized he was in the big leagues was he threw a 99-mile-per-hour fastball that Victor Martinez turned around for a double, and when Martinez got to second, Verlander was like, wow, that's never happened to me before.
Yeah, that was 99 up. And he said that was my welcome to the big leagues moment.
He said those two guys, he and Victor Martinez, to this day still joke about it.
Never seen this guy give away an at bat. I don't care what the score is, time of year, time of game, inning. Grinder.
3-1, pop foul out of play. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
But I will say this, Justin. I know the commissioners put a real emphasis on pace of play. Here's a rule proposal. Just start the count with 2 strikes on Victor Martinez, please. Every time he's up, he gets the 2 strikes. And we know he's not striking out. Just start it with 2 strikes. Everybody else gets 3 strikes. You get 1.
It's his 3rd at bat. All 3 have gone to 2 strikes. The payoff pitch. Soft ground ball up the middle. Escobar, the second base side of the bag, makes the play. 2 away. It's time to get major league coverage. T-Mobile has doubled its 4G LTE in the last year and now covers over 305 million Americans. 2 away here in the 6th for JD Martinez, who reached on the error by Escobar his last time up. Apparently he's using T-Mobile. Martinez can't hold up on the changeup.
That's been an effective pitch against JD tonight. Again, we talked at the top about how Detroit loves swinging at the first pitch. Way to get them off that, changeup.
Bounce foul. No balls and 2 strikes.
Change up again, doubling up on it, running in, out in front, on foot.
Mike Pelfrey in the dugout. He got through 5. Had his best inning, most economical inning in the last inning, the 5th, when he threw 10 pitches. Every other inning he's been at 20 or more.
He did a very good job keeping this game in check.
0-2 is up high with a fastball, 1 ball and 2 strikes. There's the line for Pelfrey. We mentioned the walk total in his last start at Houston. He had 6 in 6 innings, 5 in 5 innings tonight. Martinez, ground ball up the middle. There's Escobar for all 3 outs in the inning. 1, 2, 3 go the Tigers in the 6th. We hit the bottom half of the 6th, 4-0 Royals. The moment, sponsored by Falcon Tires, the official tire of Major League Baseball. The defense tonight, it has been on. Nice double play turn there. This catch by Alex Gordon, that didn't even do it justice. The diving play in foul territory by Hosmer, and Kinsler up the middle to take a base hit away. We have certainly seen some defense here tonight. Kyle Ryan, the new pitcher for the Tigers, the left-hander, will face Gerard Dyson leading off here in the 6th. Ryan has appeared in 4 games, 4 innings, no walks, a couple of strikeouts. Opponents batting almost 300 against him.
The Clubbies have their work cut out tonight, by the way. With all the grass stains and dirt stains, we got guys laying out. This is a pre-treat night as far as the laundry goes tonight. That needs some attention.
Ground ball up the middle. Kinsler can't get it under his glove. And even if he did make it, you're not sure he would have gotten Gerard Dyson running. Let's go back to LA and check in with Kevin Burkhardt once again. Awesome. Wow. Chris Bryant, one of the bright stars in the game. Jake Arrieta following up his unbelievable season last year. Good storyline developing with the Cubs. Alcides Escobar. First pitch, lines one foul down the first baseline. Escobar, a double, a run scored. a single, a stolen base, and a sacrifice fly in that 4th inning. Pulled, third base. Castellanos goes to second for 1, over to first. A 5-4-3 double play.
Nice job by Ryan. Looked like he went to the slider to get Escobar out in front. Exactly what you want to do when you're looking for the double play ball. Get the rollover. Watch Escobar here. Pitch set up by the fastball the pitch before. Ryan, not a hard thrower, but a good separation between the fastball and breaking ball.
First pitch, fastball in the outside corner to Moustakas, who homered his last time up. He's 2 for 2, also a walk and a single. The Royals have hit into 3 double plays tonight. Moustakas in the air, shallow right center. Collins comes over, and he will make the catch for the final out. We will go to the 7th here in KC. It is 4-0 Royals. Back out there to start this 7th inning, and why not? He's pitched a very, very good game. His team leads 4-0. He'll face Castellanos, Saltalamacchia, and Tyler Collins. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. He's only been in trouble twice, the 3rd and the 4th innings. The 4th inning was the big one. Base loaded, 2 outs, and he got Saltalamacchia to strike out to end the inning when he had to reach back for a little extra. Got it up to 95. Castellanos, first pitch, fouls it straight back, 0-1.
And you see that one there at 93. That's pretty much where he's been sitting, 92, 93. And I said that's a tick or 2 down. Remember last year in the postseason? I mean, he was bringing it at 96, sometimes touching 97. Premium velocity. It's not thought of as a power pitcher. But just in this year, among American League starters, his fastball is the 6th highest in velocity. We haven't seen it tonight, but certainly in that postseason, that was an eye-opener. I asked him about that. He said, well, when I rebuilt my delivery in Pittsburgh under Ray Searage a couple of years ago, he said I really backed off, really concentrated on getting ground balls and mechanics. And it allowed me the next season to come back and throw harder.
Just misses outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Watch the arm swing of Volquez. Watch how low he's going to bring the baseball in the arm swing. That is a thing of beauty right there. That's just great timing, a whip action. Not a lot of pitchers can do that and be on time as often as Volquez is.
1-2 pulled foul, and the changeup stays 1-2. You mentioned the postseason. Let's talk about the postseason, because the last time that we saw Edinson Volquez on Fox on a national game, he was pitching Game 5. But how about Game 1 in that World Series, where he comes out, and that was the night after he finished pitching that he found out his father had passed away. And you were on the call with Joe Buck, Harold Reynolds, Ken Rosenthal, Aaron Andrews, and you guys had a really hard decision to make, or what people thought was a hard decision. Why don't you take us through what that was like for you guys?
Yeah, because there were reports out there that he had been informed about his father's passing. That was not true. And people we talked with in the organization said, listen, he does not know, and his family wants to wait until after he comes out of the game to inform him. So once we knew that, that was an easy call. Because don't forget, especially in the American League where the pitcher is not batting, in between innings, when the Royals are batting, he's back in the clubhouse with the game on the television. Imagine if that's how someone found out that their father passed away, by hearing it on a broadcast. And there's no way we were going to do that. And, you know, obviously to me it was an easy call. Anytime you're going to err on the side of human decency over expediency, you don't even have to defend that position.
Breaking ball fouled back, stays 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And Justin, the amazing thing is he left immediately on a private plane to go back to the Dominican Republic, buried his father, came back as the starting pitcher in Game 5 at Citi Field, and pitched extremely well in that game, pitching 6 innings. Just can't imagine the swing of emotions. What a week.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Castellanos, and he stays alive.
And of course, I asked him where he was at the time when Eric Hosmer made that mad dash home. I thought maybe he was icing, but he really doesn't ice. He said, I was in the dugout, of course, at Citi Field, the visitors on the third base side. He said, I had a great look at it. And the first thing I said was, oh no. And then, oh yes. He said, I knew he was going to be out until he was safe. Great reaction right there.
Good at bat here by Castellanos. 10th pitch of the at bat coming, leading off here in the 7th. And for what it's worth, I agree with you in your decision, the entire broadcast decision. Like you said, when it comes to human decency, you want to err on the side of caution, and you guys did that.
And it turned out that that initial report that he knew about it and went to the mound knowing it was false.
2-2, Castellanos to left field, drops in for a base hit, a leadoff single for the Tigers here in the 7th. And let's go for a game break. Back to KB. Kevin, thank you. All right, so you said,
wow, 94 pitches.
Right.
No, it's his game. That's still a manageable amount for Jake Arrieta.
Jared Saltalamacchia will step in. Saltalamacchia skies one to center field. Lorenzo Cain has to wait a week and a half for that one to come down. Makes the catch for the first out. This weekend, NASCAR heads to Richmond beginning on Saturday with Xfinity Series racing and the Toyota Care 250 at noon Eastern on FS1. Then Sunday, it's the Toyota Owners 400 at 12:30 Eastern on Fox, or you can watch it live on Fox Sports Go. One away now for Tyler Collins, with Castellanos on at first base. Volquez trying to get through 7. You know, it's funny with Jared Saltalamacchia flying out to center field. We have a bit of an oddity here in this game tonight. You've got 2 players who spell their name the same way. Jared for Jared Saltalamacchia, and then Gerard Dyson. J-A-R-R-O-D. It kind of reminds me of that Seinfeld episode. It's Bobby A. Bear and Bobby Herbert.
And so far, you've made it into the 7th inning without confusing those two names. Pressure's on now, Justin.
Now it's on. Breaking ball in there to Tyler Collins. There is Gerard Dyson. Oh and 2. Collins is 0 for 2. A fly out to left and a strikeout looking. One of the 4 strikeout victims for Volquez. And now he goes down swinging. Last time was looking, this time swinging. Strikeout number 5 for Volquez. Out number 2 here in the 7th.
Just a nasty curveball. Watch it bite underneath the hands of Collins. That's just perfectly executed. Over 100 pitches and still razor sharp.
Kelvin Herrera warming up in the bullpen. If you're an opposing team, you don't like to see him start throwing when the Royals have a lead. Goes back to the breaking ball against Iglesias. That misses for ball 1. Jose Iglesias, a single. And he fouled out to first on that diving play by Hosmer when Hosmer forgot there was just 1 out. Pulled foul. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Iglesias has really made himself into a better hitter than a lot of people thought. A big part of his game, he's as fast from the right-hand batter's box down the line as anybody I've seen other than Mike Trout. Almost a quarter of his hits are infield hits. Sometimes, kind of like Ichiro, he's better off making weak contact.
Up and in. 2 balls and a strike. Speaking of Ichiro, how about the Miami Marlins? When you look at Ichiro and then who they have as their manager Don Mattingly and hitting coach Barry Bonds. Can you imagine those conversations about hitting?
Oh, wouldn't you like to just get him in the lunchroom and just be a fly on the wall and let him go at it?
And then have Giancarlo Stanton join the conversation about power.
There's a lot of hits there.
Two balls and 2 strikes here to Iglesias. Top of the 7th, 4-0. Royals leading the Tigers. The Royals won the first game of the series on Tuesday, 8-6. Lost last night, 3-2. Both games have come down to the 9th innings.
Try to backdoor a 2-seamer right here.
Fouled away.
Very difficult batter to strike out. And you saw right there why. Great plate coverage. Good 2-strike approach.
110th pitch of the night coming up here for Edinson Volquez. A season high for him. Breaking ball again, fought off foul. You ever catch a foul ball when you went to the game as a fan?
In the press box, I did once.
Who hit it?
Dave Parker, back at the old Shea Stadium.
Wow.
It's far enough away from home plate that it had lost a lot of its velocity. Iglesias came into this game swinging and missing only 5 times this year. See if Volquez can get one here.
Nope. Pulled foul again.
Let's see. He's tried with 2 strikes. Fastball away. Went to the curveball. Back to the fastball in. About time to throw that 2-strike changeup right here to the pesky Iglesias. Doesn't want to go away. Back to the curveball.
Punches one to second. Infante the easy play, and that'll do it here in the 7th. 7 strong innings worked by Volquez. Stretch time here in KC, 4-0 Royals. Kyle Ryan takes or delivers the first pitch low to Lorenzo Cain for ball 1. Cain walked his last time up back in the 4th, stole a base and scored on the error charge to Castellanos. Now Castellanos gets the nice hop and throws across for the first out. Edinson Volquez in the dugout gets a hug from pitching coach Dave Island.
What a job he did. I mean, had everything working. There's the changeup down and away. The one thing you're not going to see here, anything in the center of the plate. Kept all 3 pitches on the edges of the plate, working up, down, in, and out. Really, the only mistake that I can remember was a little hanging curve he threw Ian Kinsler for that double, but just been so effective throughout the season, not just today. He's picking up where he left off in the postseason last year.
Volquez 7 innings, 5 hits, no runs, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. One ball, no strikes to Eric Hosmer. He's 1 for 2. Ground ball, second base. Nice hop for Kinsler. And 2 up, 2 down here in the 7th. Let's go back to Kevin Burkhardt, find out what's going on with Jake Arrieta. It's awesome.
You know, this guy is unlike anybody else in baseball for a couple of reasons. Number one, his combination of velocity and spin off the charts. I spent a lot of time with him this spring and was just amazed at his thoroughness, whether it's nutrition, workout, game preparation, game planning, mechanics. I mean, he does deep dives into as much information and preparation as he can get. With the way he throws with that crossfire delivery, you have to be so strong and so well conditioned.
Morales off the end of the bat into right center field, drops in for a base hit, a 2-out single for Kendrys Morales. That's his 2nd hit of the night.
And getting back to Volquez for a minute, we saw him there in the dugout with Dave Island, the pitching coach. Does a great job here. So impressed with Volquez. Also impressed by the Kansas City crowd. We noticed that as he walked off the field, they knew that their guy was done. the pitch count over 100 innings, 7 strong. They walked him off the field with a big ovation.
30,763 here tonight at the K. Alex Gordon now at the plate. And the fastball from Kyle Ryan on the outside corner for a strike. But how about the second half of the season last year by Jake Arrieta? I mean, it was historic.
It was historic.
Gordon, left center field, long run for Tyler Collins. He's over there, collides with Upton, but Upton makes the catch. And the two talk about it. They're both okay, at least you hope so, as Upton's running back a bit gingerly. But we'll go to the 8th, 4-0, Kansas City. Edinson Volquez has got the jacket on, the towel around his neck. His night is done. Went 7 strong innings, and he hands it over to Kelvin Herrera. One of the best setup men in the game. He's appeared in 8 games, 7 2/3, 2 walks, 10 strikeouts. And he lights up the radar gun. 98, 99, 100. He is a weapon out of the bullpen for Ned Yost.
We have not seen as many of those high 90s this year out of Herrera or Wade Davis. It's nothing to be alarmed at, but I think after the workload they had pitching deep into the postseason again, to be expected early April, not to be seeing the high 90s. Herrera velocity down from about an average of 99 to a mere 97 so far. Still plenty good enough.
He'll face the top of the order, Ian Kinsler, and the first pitch in there at 96. Kinsler, his 9th multi-hit game of the season, leads all of Major League Baseball. He's got a double and a single and a foul out to third. A slider miss, 1 ball and 1 strike. Fouled back, 1 ball and 2 strikes here to Kinsler. Top of the 8th inning here in Kansas City. Justin Kutcher alongside Tom Verducci. 4-0. Royals on top of the Tigers. They got a run in the first and 3 in the 4th. But the big story in Major League Baseball here tonight is taking place in Cincinnati, where Jake Arrieta, the reigning National League Cy Young Award winner, is throwing a no-hitter against the Reds. That game right now is in the top of the 9th inning. And when it goes to the bottom of the 9th and Arrieta takes the hill, we will get you out there live for that coverage. Kinsler down the right field line. And Dyson won't get there. Stays 1-2. Follow live baseball with MLB.com @BAT app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with game day, live game, video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com @BAT, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. Heck, we could watch it right now on the phone.
It's a good time to have it.
Foul ball off the foot of Kinsler. Stays 1-2.
What an amazing career arc for Jake Arrieta. He's a guy who had the highest ERA of any starting pitcher in Baltimore Orioles history. Essentially a throw-in in a trade, completely transforms in Chicago. Went back to that crossfire delivery, moved on the rubber to the extreme third base side. And the rest, as you said, really is history for Jake Arrieta. Really, the only thing I can think of is similar is Roy Halladay. It went down to A ball to rebuild his delivery with Toronto.
Herrera gets Kinsler with the off-speed pitch for the first out here in the 8th.
And in fact, Jake Arrieta told me he used Halladay as an example. Nasty breaking ball, well located here by Herrera. And in fact, looked at the metrics on Roy Halladay's two-seamer and wanted to copy it, almost like copying a DNA sequencing. And it's the closest I've seen. And Halladay, of course, had the tremendous two-seamer, hard with late movement.
Justin Upton, first pitch, fouls it into the mitt of Perez. Upton 0 for 3. No balls and 2 strikes. 98 on the gun for Herrera.
Once again, the 8th inning guy for Ned Yost. Used to be Soria starting out the season. He just wasn't sharp enough. Soria used with the team behind last night. Herrera now, again, the 8th inning option.
I believe that's good morning, good afternoon, good night right there.
All fastballs by him.
Miguel Cabrera batting with 2 outs. What he has done over the course of his career in some incredibly elite company. But you said something before the game that I thought was quite telling.
Well, it is incredible company.
And here's Cabrera out to right field. Dyson on the run will make the catch, and you'll have to hold that thought till later. A 1-2-3 inning worked by Herrera. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It's still 4-0 Kansas City. Here in Kansas City, we were talking about Miguel Cabrera in elite company, and Tom, you were so rudely interrupted when he flew out to right.
On the first pitch, yeah. Anytime you're in the company of black and white photographs, you know you're doing something. You see Cabrera at 321. Well, he hasn't hit his decline phase. I'll be shocked if he finishes his career with an average over 320, but I will not be shocked if that guy is still raking into his 40s. Yeah, 40s. He's a big guy, but I'm telling you, just a tremendous pure hitting ability and intelligence as a hitter that I think will serve him well as he ages. But as far as hitting for an average later in his career, probably not that high.
Salvador Perez takes the first pitch down low from the new pitcher for the Tigers. The new pitcher is Alex Wilson. His second appearance, 1 1/3, 2 strikeouts. Perez 0 for 3 on the night, and he fouls this one back, and it's now 1 ball and 1 strike.
I'll tell you what Miggy did that's amazing on Tuesday. He struck out 4 times, tying his career high. It was only the 4th time in his career he got punched out 4 times. Now, the guy he's most similar to in terms of his career numbers right now is Hank Aaron. You know how many times Hank Aaron struck out 4 times in a game? And
0.
he played a gazillion years. Yeah, that would be 0. But so far, he is on the career arc of Hank Aaron. How about that?
2 balls, 1 strike, the count to Perez. They are going to the bottom of the 9th in Cincinnati. Perez pulls it foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jake Arrieta, since the beginning of August of 2015, has thrown 118 in the 3rd innings. That's including tonight. He's given up 7 earned runs. That's an ERA of 0.53. He is on the cusp of a no-hitter. Let's go out to LA and join Kevin Burkhardt. One away now for Infante. And Infante takes the first pitch down low and outside. Omar Infante, 1 for 3, a double and a run scored. 2 balls and no strikes.
It's a good hard cut fastball from Alex Wilson. That's his best pitch.
Foul ball into the seats. 2-1 here to Omar Infante. Bottom of the 8th, 4 runs on 10 hits, 1 error for the Royals, 8 men left on base. No runs on 5 hits, 1 error for the Tigers, and 6 men left on base. Missing up and in. 3-1. Coming back this way. Tom,
where's your range?
Flinch.
Where's your range?
I mean, you're on my right. I'm thinking maybe you're going to do something, and nothing.
You mean like to protect you? Not
no,
a chance.
Like
you're on your own,
You're
pal.
a ball player. I thought there was going to be some sort of reaction. Nothing.
I had it lined up. It wasn't even close.
At least take a peek.
At least the camera caught you when you weren't under the desk here, Justin.
Yeah. Fly ball to center field. Collins makes the play, 2 away. You know, we've got the Arrieta no-hitter going on my phone right now so we can watch it as well.
On the At Bat app?
Yeah, on the MLB At Bat app. I mean, heck, we talked about it. We said it's a great app. I love it. You love it. Who doesn't love it? And we're all baseball fans, so you want to see if history is going to be made. And I'm going to throw out a question here, because I don't know the answer to this. With Jarrod Dyson at the plate, it's 16-0. Cubs on top. Would this be the biggest discrepancy for a no-hitter in history?
Well, I think you have to go all the way back to 1884, Justin. Everybody knows about the Buffalo Bisons.
Well, that's before my time, as Dyson lines out to Alex Wilson. But it was 18-0 when the Buffalo Bisons won. There was a no-hitter thrown in 1884. We go to the ninth. It's
you don't remember that?
KC. I don't know what's wrong with me. Top of the ninth inning, 4-0. Royals on top of the Tigers, trying to take the rubber game of this 3-game set. The new pitcher is Danny Duffy. And Duffy has appeared in 6 games, a 6.14 ERA, 7 1/3 innings, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts. Opponents hitting .290 against him. He'll face Victor Martinez, JD Martinez, Nick Castellanos. So Victor Martinez, the switch hitter, will turn around to bat from the right side for the first time tonight. And the first pitch, ground ball to short. Escobar with the throw, 1 pitch, 1 out. There are 2 outs in the 9th inning in Cincinnati. Arrieta 1 out away from his second no-hitter.
Yeah, I've always liked Danny Duffy's arm. I like it even better out of the bullpen. See here, simplify the delivery, no more windup, pitch out of the stretch. And that fastball, which really gets on hitters, it's good enough anyway, 95, 96, plays up even better in short bursts out of the bullpen.
JD Martinez, fly ball to right field. Dyson over a couple steps, now comes back, makes the catch, and there are 2 away. Two pitches, 2 outs for Danny Duffy here in the 9th, and the crowd comes to its feet, looking for the series win. Nick Castellanos has reached base twice, a walk, a single, and he's also struck out looking. Duffy delivers the first pitch down low for ball one.
I mean, is this game right off the Kansas City blueprint or what? I mean, you talk about a relentless offense, only 3 strikeouts, put the ball in play, aggressive base running, stealing third, turning into a run by Lorenzo Cain, and premium defense.
And their first strike.
And the bullpen, of course, with velocity taking over in the 8th and then here in the 9th.
One ball, one strike, the count to Castellanos. Jake Arrieta does in fact get his second no-hitter of his career. Castellanos fouls it back. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Kevin, thank you. Congratulations, Jake Arrieta, a no-hitter here on April 21st, 2016. And it's 1 ball, 2 strikes, the count to Castellanos with 2 outs in the 9th. And Castellanos fly ball to right field. Gerard Dyson is there, and that will do it. The Royals take this game 4-0, and they take the series 2-1. Our prevailing moment of the game, sponsored by the Hartford, was the catch made by Alex Gordon back in the 4th against Justin Upton. The distance he ran, he got a standing ovation by everybody, and I mean everybody. A tip of the cap by his teammates on the field, his teammates in the dugout. An incredible catch by Gordon. Moustakas with a home run. Volquez gets the win, and the Royals win this one by the score of 4-0. After the break, we'll get you back to LA for the MLB whip around. Kevin, CJ, Dontrell will have you with all that coming up after the break.